I'm coming home, I'm coming home, tell the world I'm coming.
Welcome back to Wilso's Reviews, and today I'm going to give you my top 5 reasons why I was ultimately disappointed with Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice when I first watched it. Now, I did enjoy this film. I really did. It was probably one of my favorite films in 2016 because there was a lot of things I loved about that film. But unfortunately, if you're a Batman fan and you're a DC fan and the whole 9 yards, I was ultimately also disappointed with this film because it could have been better. As a whole, I liked it, but there was a lot of reasons why I didn't like it as well. I felt like it left me with a bit of a disappointing note, and I felt like it could have done better. So hence why I'm going to give you my top 5 reasons why I was disappointed with Batman vs Superman. Let's go. Number 5, the editing. Let's just talk about it. Let's get it through because this is a quick point. In the theatrical version of Batman vs Superman, there was a lot of editing done. They took out a lot of important scenes which wrecked a lot of the plot points. For example, there was a scene where Superman was accused of killing people in Africa. So what they did pretty much was they took some of the scenes out of in that section where Superman was there, and they didn't explain, well, why did they think it was Superman? Because he wouldn't shoot people with a gun. He doesn't need a gun. But in the uncut version, they explained it a lot better. So editing was a big part. They took out a lot of important scenes and a lot of scenes that mattered in the film, such as, like, you know, Clark Kent doing investigating on the Batman himself and going off and figuring out who this Batman character is, and, you know, and talking to the person who was a girlfriend of the man who died in prison from Batman, who branded him, be left in the film. But however, it's a number 5. Number 4, the relationships. There are so many relationships in this film. There are so many relationships in this film that just needed to be improved on. Such as, why does it really feel like Batman and Superman didn't really have much to fight for in the film? It really felt like they just made the most simplest reason for them to have a fight, and that was it. These guys literally only had 3 confrontations. There was one scene where Bruce Wayne meets Clark Kent, there was one scene where Batman meets Superman, and there was one scene where they have a fight. That's only 3 scenes. You need more than that to actually get you more interested in a confrontation between these two. Here's a thought. Why not have them be friends at first, and then find a reason for them to fight in that retrospect as well. Instead of just saying, here's 3 scenes, now fight. It's not enough. You have to rely on each individual's character's motivations to fight the other, and that doesn't really make you buy into the actual feud of Batman and Superman. Hence why it's number 4 on the list. Number 3, the characters. There are so many characters I can bitch about, but there's 2 main ones that piss me off the most. Doomsday and Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor, portrayed by Jesse Eisenberg, and Doomsday were both wasted. They were just wasted characters in this film. They're important characters in the comic books of Superman, because Lex Luthor is such a badass businessman slash LexCorp owner slash just philanthropist, anything. He pretty much is a guy who's to be reckoned with Superman, and he's only a human. Whereas Doomsday is this ultimate killing machine that can't be killed by anything normal, and was created due to a cloning of this thing multiple times, and it had to adapt multiple times until eventually it became so indestructible. They didn't explain that perfectly enough. Hence why they wasted the characters and great opportunities in this film. Which is why it pissed me off, because I actually don't mind Superman villains because they're really good villains. Number 2, the plot. The plot is all over the place. It doesn't, like I said earlier in the review, how the editing affected the plot. It does, because in the film, there are so many questions left in some scenes where you're like, hang on, how does Superman not know that there was a bomb in some dude's wheelchair? And then eventually in the uncut version they explain it's because it was a lead line and Superman can't see through lead. But you wouldn't know that until you saw the uncut version. So the theatrical version fucked that up for everyone. Like I said, there are many other ones. Like, why did they think that Superman would use a gun to kill those people? That's just stupid thinking. That is really ridiculous. This film is just all over the shop with the plot. It just doesn't know where it wants to be, or what it wants to talk about. It uses the plot to focus on a Batman storyline, origin story, which it doesn't need to do that. Which leads to my number one point. Number one, the story. Everyone knows it. The story, to me, was not the best written. I've seen better. It just, if you go and pit Batman and Superman together, this story just doesn't do its justice. Because you're not only trying to tease a fight with Batman and Superman, you're also trying to tease the fight with Doomsday and Superman. You're also teasing The Dark Knight Returns. You're also teasing Injustice. You're also teasing, Flashpoint Paradox. You're also teasing Justice League, and you're also teasing Wonder Woman as well. That's too many things in a story to actually focus down in one story. Zack Snyder and his team did a good job to do that, but I felt like it was a bit of a mess, and that there was actually legit problems with it. And that was my problem with it, was the number 7 reasons why the story just didn't fold up, because there were too many storylines trying to interact with each other, and it just didn't seem right. If they just focused on one story, it would have fixed the whole thing, because they would have been able to flesh the shit out of that one story and just build. So those are my top 5 reasons why I was ultimately disappointed with Batman vs Superman. It's not a bad film, but there are films that aren't bad, but they can be improved on. So stay tuned for my review of Batman vs Superman, which will be next. That will be an interesting one where I just break down why I love this film and why I hate this film. And then I'll follow up with a video of how I would make Batman vs Superman. So thank you again for tuning into Wilso's Reviews. I hope you enjoyed this top 5 reasons. If you did, hit a like on the video. If you want to subscribe down below. If you share this to your friends and that might like it, share it to your friends. And I'll see you guys soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.